All right, so let's talk about the differences in the ways that you can buy multifamily. Anything for that matter, but we're going to talk about multifamily today because that's what I do. All right, so let's talk about the three basic ways you can do this, what they all mean, benefits, basically pros and cons of each, and what I think is best. So you've got three different things. You have IRO, independent rental owner. You can buy it yourself. You could do a JV or a partnership where you and a few other people might get together equally with equal say and go out and buy something yourself. Or you can do a syndication, which is what I typically do. A syndication is where you go out and find a deal. You put a project together, bring in silent investors or limited partners. You function as the general partner or the deal sponsor. You run the entire deal on behalf of the entire partnership. Okay, so let's break it down. IRO, independent rental owner. This is going to be the easiest way to go about doing this, but it's also going to be the slowest because you are going to be limited to the amount of money you can bring to the table, the size of your checkbook or your bank account. That's what limits you. It's the easiest because you don't have to check in with anybody else. You don't have investors along for the ride expecting a return from you. So, again, it is the easiest. You don't have to seek approval. You don't have to sell people on your vision, but you're going to be limited to how much money you personally have. You might be able to buy a 5, 10, maybe 15 or 20 unit apartment complex that way. Next, let's talk about a joint venture or a partnership. Everybody wants to do this, it seems, nowadays, because lots of people are limited by their bank account. They don't have enough money to go out and buy their own thing. So they want to partner together with people they meet at conferences or meetups or wherever they meet them. It's a way to leverage other people's money, yes. But a partnership or a joint venture, basically you have equal parties come into the table. Everybody will typically have a say. Now, you need to clearly define roles and responsibilities for everybody in this joint venture or partnership. But typically, everybody will have a say when it comes time to sell, refi, what kind of a remodel do we want to do? Who do we want to hire for a management company? Most questions will be brought to the group. You'll be able to leverage other people's money. So that's good. You can scale a little faster now. But it gets more complicated because you have more and more decision makers at the table. That's the key, decision makers at the table. You can't get yourself locked up. If you have four people in a partnership or a joint venture, two of you want this, two of you want that. How do you break that tie? Do you have one person drive the whole thing? You have to decide that. Again, partnerships are tough. To me, partnerships are the toughest way to go about doing this because, again, typically everybody has a voice. And then, thirdly, the way I do it, you have a syndication. A syndication means, again, you have a deal sponsor, somebody that will spearhead the deal. They will drive the deal through. They will find it, get it under contract, get it closed, raise money from limited partners or passive investors, go out and operate, or give it to a third party property management company. You will manage the entire thing as the syndicator or deal sponsor. The beauty of this, again, you can leverage other people's money, and there's really not a limit to how many people you can bring into a deal. A true partnership, if you get more than 2 to 4 people, it gets really, really tough because they all have that say. In a syndication, you will typically do it in a way that you as the deal sponsor will have all decision-making powers day to day. Everybody signs on to buy into the company that you're forming to go out and buy real estate. But you, as the deal sponsor, you will run the entirety of the project. Now, sometimes you will allow them a vote when it comes time to sell or refinance some of the big capital events. But day to day operations will fall on you and you alone. You're responsible for running the property or hiring the third party property management company. You will also usually be the asset manager. You will deal with the bank. You'll be the communication piece for them, the communication piece to the investors. The investors are relying upon you entirely for their return. That to me is easier than a partnership or a joint venture because now it's just you making the decisions for the most part. But it's harder than an IRO or an independent rental owner because now you do have investors along for the ride. While they don't have a voice, usually in the day to day operations, there are other personalities invested in this deal with you. So it can become a little tricky to try to manage all those personalities and make sure that you're doing right by the investors. So In order of ease, I think the independent rental owner is the easiest. The syndication is the next easiest. And then the hardest, in my opinion, is the joint venture or the partnership, again, because everybody has a say. You can tend to get yourself locked up. You will grow faster with a syndication. You will grow slowest with an IRO or an independent rental owner situation. And again, the joint venture partnership falls in the middle there. But I still think that's the hardest route. Use this information for what you will. Just a simple way to break down buying it by yourself, buying it as a true partnership, or buying it as a syndication. Hope that helped, guys.